Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakal Kodash, Slaki. Double honors to our apostles of Great Millstone, the true elders of Israel who rule well, and peace and salutations to the hopeful elect out there pushing his truth and sincerity. My girl, last night, she does babysitting on the side. So after work, she goes straight to, she goes to babysit, and she found out, and like, both of the kids are confusing the faces, a boy and a girl. The girl, the boy, you can tell that he's a confusion of face, Jake. But the girl, you you if you brothers was to seen her, she was she looks like she's a straight up Edomite, blue eyes, blonde hair. All right, but her spirit, like she has a Jake spirit, and and my girl found out that the mother of the little girl's father told that they often conversate, and my girl found out that the father was, well, the mother of the little girl, um my girl and her was conversating, and she found out that her father was a Jake, but the girl, but the little girl was a traditional Jake, like father looked like straight up traditional Israelite, and but the little girl looked like a straight up Edomite, and that goes to show that um Israel is not always going to look like the traditional Israelite, which a clear example would be Yahushai. If you look at the depiction of Yahushai, he's a so-called African American. You know, so when you go to Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 10 on down, that's the law of the concubines, and what what Israel would do when the men would go to war. They would they would they had the option to take in the spoils, you know, women, um, cattle. They could take that, but what the women, what the men, the warrior men would do, what would they would take the women who who of that land, and they would take them for themselves, and often they would pop those women and have kids with them, and they had the option to take the women back the to to the land or leave them there, and in some cases they would leave them there, and the woman would be left with that Israelite seed in her stomach, and eventually she would give birth, and those that Israelite, pursuant to Numbers chapter 1 verse, I believe, 18. If I'm wrong, I'll put the scripture in the description. The Israelite is determined by the father's is determined by the father. You know, your heritage is determined by your father. So that child that would be in the woman's stomach, in the concubine's stomach, would be an Israelite. She would give birth to an Israelite. Why? Because her father was an Israelite. And why? Because the baby's father was an Israelite. So, and what would happen is those Israelite features would be watered down. All right, so the Israelite baby would have features of the other nations. And throughout time, that child would grow up in that environment, in a heathenistic environment, and eventually he would deal with another woman from another nation, and that child would become more watered down. Their features would become more watered down, and throughout time, a repetitive. The process would be, well, not the process, but the the same thing would happen, and eventually the those Israelite features would be completely wiped, wouldn't be noticeable. So, but through the Spirit, that Israelite, but that children, but those children would have the spirit of Israelite, you know, and that's just a quick um um example, not an example, but a quick breakdown on how one of the ways that the confusion of faces came about. Read Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 10 on down. And with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakal Kodash, the wonders our apostles of great millstone, the true elders who rule well, and peace and salutations to the hopeful elect out there pushing this truth in sincerity. This is the brother Barshai.